Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Nguyen Tran, and we have a guest here today, and his name is Jeff Wu. And I know Jeff for years, and he's a great guy. He's one of the best real estate agents, and he's a great educator. And what I love about Jeff is his passion for his work, but he's also passionate about his community, his family, and he constantly looking forward to improve himself and help improve others. And that's what one of the focus I've been trying to do is every day I try to make myself healthier. But healthy is not just meaning, do some more push-up or eat a little bit better. But healthy is how to minimize your stress. But I only one person, so I can only do so much. So I want to bring in another professional who had been do lectures, not nationwide. He traveled all over the place to do lectures, and he have a lot of great stuff. And I learned so much from him. So today I want him to join me to share with you guys, his wisdom and what he's learned and how he preach what he teach, I'm trying to do every day. So Jeff, please tell us a little bit about you. And
well, thank you for having me. Yeah, Jeff Wu, Agent Knows Homes team, licensed Virginia, Maryland, and DC. But really, just my passion is to help people be healthy, both in life and real estate. And I think it has to do, with your beliefs, your identity, your mindset, and just little things. People, I think, go to extremes when they don't really need to. It's just the little things.
Awesome. So we talk about little thing all the time, and I always tell JJ that small change make a big difference. But so one thing I want to ask you today is, you've been in the profession for how many years?
20 years this year.
Yeah. So tell me what is the stress or how this profession affects people's health in general.
I think there's a lot of stress on the mental. We are, if we're doing a good job, we are the buffer to other people's stress. Our goal is to tell them, hey, we're looking out on your behalf. We know how the process should work, and we're your advocate. And we are going to minimize, your extremes on the emotional scale. So we sort of take that on for other people, and oftentimes, we wear that. People don't realize. I think it's 70-80% of the individuals in the real estate business are just solo practitioners. So they have to wear all these different hats, whether it's putting on a lockbox, whether it's making the appointments, whether it's putting the postcard or the Facebook ad, or all these different things, driving the person around in their car, and oh, did I forget to do that? Or am I looking out for their best interests? And sometimes those interests are changing when you have a husband and a wife and kids and a dog and all these different things. So wearing, as the advocate and following the law and doing all of these different things is a lot of mental and emotional stress. Plus, you are jumping into a car. You're carrying different things. You're going to unfamiliar homes or locations. You're oftentimes rushing because a home popped up on the market and you want to show. So you have that physical piece as well. And people don't realize too, as a good realtor, you're working 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then in the evening to go meet people on appointment because they're not working. So it's not, there aren't the same boundaries, and it's not as clear. And everyone treats this profession very, very differently. So I think having great mental routines, great physical routines. I mean, one thing I love about what you preach is the self-care. You want to make sure you don't get injured or sick or overly stressed out. You want to be able to take care of yourself, because if you do, you can't help anybody. So you got to prevent all of those things from happening.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. I mean, I know you for a year, but I actually never see this, understand how the stress you go through. And it make me appreciate the agent, the real estate agent a lot better. Because we only see, I think, the aspect, okay, you're going to make a ton of money, a commission, but they don't see what you go through to earn all those money. And that's why I really love this, because there's so much that people don't see and don't appreciate the hard work that people like you put in. So how do you keep yourself healthy? Let me ask you to rephrase this question. What do you see yourself 10 years ago and now? Are you better, you're healthier, or are you not as healthy as you were 10 years ago? I'm not talking about aging, because over time we're all aging, but sometimes people actually healthier as they get older because they're more wiser, they understand the value of health better. So what do you think, how this profession changed you in terms of health, mental health, and you know?
That's a great question, and I think I will answer it in two ways. Is overall, I would say yes, I am a lot healthier, partly because I'm sort of addicted to learning and growth, and as the world has evolved and knowledge has grown and science and all these things, and even coming into great people like you know, I know more and I'm able to do more. So I think being smarter, being connected to better people, you know, getting acupuncture or cupping or chiropractic, you know, whenever I can preventatively, you know, all of those things contribute to that. But the strange thing is, it's you know, over a 10-year period, you know, my goals have really evolved too. You know, I used to think in college I want to bench press, you know, 1 billion pounds and do all these different things. And so maybe I'm not as strong as I was 10 years ago, but being married with, you know, 4 kids, I don't need to bench press 1 billion pounds. And none of my clients are going to ask me how much I can bench press. So I think, you know, the goals evolve and you keep learning. And the key is making sure you're using the learning and making sure you're making the tweaks. To make fun of myself when I was a lot younger, and this is, I guess, the way the world was, everybody thought about fat free. And I would eat a dozen bagels because I thought it's low fat and that's good. But probably not now with what we know, the smartest thing to do to eat a dozen bagels in, you know, one day or one period of time, or even some people maybe don't want any bagels. So just continuing to evolve what we know, and maybe some fats are okay. It's okay to have some avocado or some other things. So I think constantly trying to learn and making sure that I'm using, you know, those things.
No, but that's what you talk about, changing your mindset on you know, eating and how you think about exercise. But what does the more typically, what exactly more specific in the profession that you have that actually affect your daily life? Like, so you say earlier, you know, sometimes you work like for 8, 10, 12 hour a day, right? So that definitely affects you tremendously. So what have you done to help to ease that? Have you do anything? Have you think of anything that can help you
Definitely.
share with other people?
Definitely. So I have two kind of overall philosophies that are that people can tweak in their own personal way. But number one is I really believe, even with a project, big or small, or even with our days, that it's so important how we start and how we finish. And I'll call them bookends. I think our bookends are so powerful. And even with the client, you know, sometimes you have bumpy parts in the middle, but if you start strong and you finish strong, hopefully that's what they remember. But with your day too. So I wake up in the morning, I have a great early morning routine. I've actually combined it from a number of books to make it my own thing. But I go through my gratitude, have a glass of water, go through what I call identity statements, and say, I am somebody who eats healthily. I am somebody who surrounds himself with great people. I am someone who exercises every day. I am someone who doesn't eat after 8 p.m. And just these little statements, so that when I have a challenge throughout the day regarding that area, you know, I'm not that person. I'm not, how would a person who eats healthy act in this situation? Or if it's 8:01, I said I don't eat after 8 o'clock. I'm gonna follow a commitment I already made. So even though some people think I just make these commitments, I have to remind myself every morning who I am. I am someone who loves spending time with his family. I am all these things. So you have these identity statements, and that kind of sets me on the right path. And I do some gratitudes, and then I jump in to some exercise. So then it's done. And then from what I've heard, that also helps your metabolism already, you know, throughout the day. And then after exercise, I immediately stretch, do some back exercises that you help me with, and then even do a little bit of breathing and a little bit of mindfulness. And that's another piece too. There's a recent workout by Julie Funt, who's someone who studies norms in work. And she is really pushing that people put white space between all their activities. So now I'm really, really conscious about having a tiny gap between everything. So you can pause, you can reflect on the last thing, you can get ready for the next thing, or just as a human, maybe you need to do a human thing and you get a drink or get something and go to the bathroom. So just having those so you don't feel rushed. I bet you almost every car accident, almost every time somebody yells at somebody, I bet it had something to do with being rushing and being unprepared. So having these pauses, these, taking a breath. I mean, you give yourself goosebumps, feels good to everything flow through you. So just being really on purpose with the bookends, starting and finishing, and then also not being in the rushing mode. And your clients, I mean, if you forgot the contract or you get lost, they'll be okay if you say, hey, I'm not ready. Let me make sure we're on the right and then, so taking those pauses, I think, is really powerful.
Awesome. Yeah, so lately I've been talking a lot about that. Take your personal time. And you're right, because I think we all have different hat to wear, but sometimes we forgot to take off one and already put the other one on top. And I think especially now, let's talk about a lot of people work from home, and I know a lot of real estate agents work from home, and that's a huge problem. Because for me, I noticed that since COVID, a lot of my patients who used to work at the office, at first they were so excited, and then later on they realized they're actually stressed out more, they gain more weight, and they're not as healthy because there's no such thing as going home. Because you work from home, and then the worst part is sometimes you have a laptop, right? So you walk around, you're on the phone, you're with a kid, and next thing you know, your entire house become a working space. Mm-hmm. So every time and I think that's how the physical space reminds us. Like say, I lost my mother 24 years ago. Well, I see something remind me of her, then it remind me, of her. So same thing with work. If you constantly sit everywhere, then you see that play, you remind yourself of work again, and that's where you don't have a break. Mm-hmm. And it's scary because I always refer to our mind, our muscle at your car engine. You don't turn on your car, you turn off the engine when you come here and sit down with us, so your car is not running. But we forgot to turn off our muscle, our brain, because we have bad posture or we constantly thinking about work. Mm-hmm. And even though you're not thinking about work, you do something else, but you're not in the moment. You're not, what did you say earlier? Take the app, the breathing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just take a pause.
Take a pause, right? Mm-hmm. And so even though you are working something, but the back of your mind, there's still other thing running. Mm-hmm. So it's so important for people to actually get out of the house after a certain time. Let's say if you work till 5 p.m., it's mm-hmm. really good to get up, get out there, walk for 10 minutes yep. to clear your head. Like you say, take some time, personal time, and then come back in and put your other hat on. So the next question is, what do you do for fun?
Oh, wow. I mean, I feel like I'm always looking to improve and grow. So for fun, I love to learn, love to read a good book. I love to go to a class. I also love to exercise. I feel like I'm improving my body and just being in that space that you're proud of who you are and something about being in movement, whatever it is. It's exercise, archery, basketball, riding a bike, and then if you can share that with somebody else, that's pretty cool too. And then I love being with my family, love doing sports. Yeah.
Okay. So it's very interesting because I listened to this podcast a couple of weeks ago talking about fun. Mm-hmm. I think sometime over time we kind of mix up the word fun. Fun is thing that when you enjoy something with a friend and then you laugh and smile like there's no tomorrow, right? But then slowly we try to train ourselves. For example, like you love to read, you love this. We train to be better, but I think sometimes it's not as much fun as we actually think it is fun. You see what I'm getting at? Is sometimes you fun because you think it's an obligation that you want to be better. So you put yourself in a shape where you're not yourself like fun. When we were a kid, fun was what? Playing with friends, don't think about anything. So I think sometimes we kind of mix those two up. So we actually, if you add a lot of people, most people like us, we have family, we'd really stop having fun for quite some time now. Yeah, we love to enjoy the family time because we want to build a family, we want to make sure everybody stick together, but it's not always fun. You know what I mean? Like your kid make you stress out like crazy, you take them on vacation, it's not fun for you, it's fun for them maybe or maybe not. So I think we actually get a little confused of the fun.
Can I give you one confession real quick?
Yes.
I have one secret fun thing I like to do that maybe everybody doesn't support is I like to go the wrong way on the escalator, and it's very liberating. You can't think about your email or other thing when you're hoping
Because you don't want to strip. Yeah.
no one goes, or you trip, or you just got it's like a stairmaster, but you go
So see, that's what I meant by
Yeah.
fun. You know, because see, a little thing like that. Because you know, lately we talk. I go over the retirement thing a lot. Because and same thing this morning we talk about retirement and fun, and we forgot a lot of time we all have dream, and we all have things we want to do, but because of family, because of life, because of earning a living, we have to put them all aside. But the sad thing is sometimes we put them aside for so long, let's say for 40 years, right? So by the time you retire 65, you completely forgot about all the things that you'd love to do, but you've been doing, you put all aside, and now you retire, all of a sudden you're not sure what to do because you've been doing some bad habit for many years. And that's when your body breaks down. So I'm really concerned about people our age, 40, 50. You have to make sure that you have a purpose. When you retire, it doesn't mean you stop working. You just stop doing what you have to do and start doing what you love to do. And you still have to work, maybe a few days a week because you can't have fun all the time. But we have to keep those pilot light on.
Well, I love what you're saying because I actually saw in July in San Diego, I saw Neil Pasricha. He's the author of the Book of Awesome. And he talked about a misconception that people have is they think you work hard, you do a good job, and then you be happy. And he said, no, it's flipped around. You need to be happy first, then you'll be more likely to do a good job. And then also, since no day is promised to us, you can't put happiness after achievement. What if you never get that achievement? But you'll be more likely to get the achievement if you do it in a joyful, in a happy state. So he said a lot of things are kind of flipped around. And even the motivation piece is people think, I'll get motivated and then I'll do it. No, you got to start doing it and then you'll be like, okay, and then you're motivated. It's action actually precedes motivation, just like happiness should precede the good job. So I love what you're saying.
Yeah, because it reminds us a lot. Like sometimes we pretend to be happy because we all have, when you have family or when you become a father or mother, you always put everything else in front of you because all of a sudden the word sacrifice appear a lot. And you feel like sometimes it became an overdo it because you sacrifice for unnecessary. So you're killing yourself literally. So you have to learn to love yourself. And that's why the personal time is so important. Because we make money, right? You spend all the money for your children, no problem. You spend maybe a couple $100 for yourself. You feel guilty and bad about it. But think about it. Who earned those money? Why you work so hard for? We not like put in this work so that you can build a family, so you can spend all the life and energy to make somebody happy. You yourself is somebody's child. You yourself is somebody's happiness. So if we don't take care of our body, but take care of body, it doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of money, at the end of the end of the road. Sometimes we never get there, right? So every day, every little thing, is like what you said, run off the escalator just the opposite way. So we all have to find that little fun, and that is quite amazing. But thank you for sharing that with us. Now, the other question I want to ask you is, you play a lot of sport. How does that make you feel, after you exercise, and how do you think that affect your mental health or physical health?
It makes me feel great. Again, you can't be checking email when you're playing a sport. And then it's really cool to be in community with other people, whether it's a team sport or whether you go with someone else to do different solitary things. Like archery or tennis or whatever. But I love basketball, I love soccer. And again, being in camaraderie with somebody, being able to cheer for somebody for doing a good job or encourage them. It's like, it really, fills my soul to see them take pride in what they did, or see them, hey, that guy's cheering for me. I'm not going to get down on myself when I make a mistake, because nobody's perfect. And I think that's a real challenge right now too, not only with society, but also with our kids, that if we feel like we make a mistake, it's the end of the world. And it's not. Just because you make a mistake doesn't make you a loser. It just makes you someone who's going to learn and continue to get better. So if we're not experiencing that in a novel way, where it's not the end of the world, where you're not unsafe, you're not going to die, and sport is such a cool vehicle for that, for the learning, the camaraderie, all of it. I love it. And then again, the therapeutic nature of whether it's practice or performance, you are in that moment, and you need to be locked in on it. Otherwise, someone's going to take the ball from you, or someone's going to knock you down, or So I think sport is phenomenal.
So what advice would you give, other people who never play sport or never pick up anything in their life?
Start. It is so cool. It's never too late to start, and it is a great way to sweat, to burn some calories, to learn new movement patterns. I think people should play multiple sports. Get your body, in motion. I think almost everybody feels better. I mean, it's such the weird paradox of the world where if you sit on a couch, you don't feel like moving. But once you are moving, you like love it, and you want to keep moving. And so I think everybody should do sport. And again, nobody, especially if you get older, nobody is like making it their job to like shame you or heckle you or give you a hard time. We all just are trying to have fun and trying to be healthy. Yeah, and then you make friends. You have a good time. Yeah, and heaven forbid, you might actually win a game or two. Yeah.
So see, everything you just said is what our human body was built to do. We were built to move. We were hunter and gathering. We were not meant to sit around and stuck in the TV all day long. Mm-hmm. We're built to be. We also born to be in community. That's why they say take a village to raise a child. That's why, and that's why everything you just said just bring us the basic of what human were created to do. Mm-hmm. It's not hard to be healthy, but sometimes the world make it so complicated that you have to take vitamin C, vitamin B. You get down to so a molecular level that you analyze so much instead of just go back and being having fun and eating well. So now, I think you are a great statement in terms of living and doing healthy lifestyle, because everything you do is therapeutic. Inadvertently, not just that, but think about all the charity work. Let's talk about some of the charity work. So I just came back from a mission, like a month ago, and it made me feel great because I was able to give back, and I'm not asking for anything. I mean, here I'm working on a living, so patient pay me and I get paid. But when I'm go to Vietnam to do those volunteer things, it's 100% from me. And it just makes me feel so wonderful. And now I understand why you spend so much time every year to do a lot of charity work. And I think it's really helped you alleviate your stress, because sometimes when you get so much overwhelming, you feel like, oh my God, why are those happen to me, and all the burden on my shoulder. But when you go out there and do the charity work to the people that are more needed, then you realize you have no right to complain. Because I said with JJ, in our team to do the in Vietnam in a mission, we have about 76 personnel, and more than half of them are young people from 13 to 25. And some of them who grew up here, were born here, and the mother was complaining about how selfish they were, how they take everything for granted, how they always entitled. If you're entitlement, they go over there and they working for 6-7 hours every day at 95 degrees Fahrenheit with 100% humidity, and no one complain. Why? Because they see 200 children out there, aged between 2 to 12, sitting in the sun for 4 hours, not complaining. So that's why I really appreciate what you do for the community, like the pie you give out, the food for other, and now I know why. So I think it's great for people in your profession to understand this. The more you give out, that's the best way to reach out your community. But at the end of the day, it's actually helping us to improve ourselves and then to ease our stress and our pain and our suffer, because we able to give without asking for anything in return. So tell me a little bit more about your charity work.
Well, I think it's kind of like what you just said about your body and your health. People are waiting to have fun and be happy until they retire, until they don't work and all these things. Well, you can't do that with giving or generosity. You can't wait till you have $1 billion to be the nice person. So same thing with the habits or the identity is I want to have the identity that I can model for my children. And I think my dad did a great job for me. I didn't know what he was doing. I thought he was a weirdo when he would pick up trash off the street. And I said, that's not our trash. And he said, you know, it might blow into our yard, or an animal might eat it, or we want our community to be clean. And he was always doing those little, he was modeling that for me. So selfishly, I want to model that for my kids. So hopefully they'll be better people. But also, I can't wait because I don't have this pile of money just waiting around. If I can just do a little bit and make it a habit, it'll really help. And it helps me focus on the 2 G's of generosity and giving. And I feel like when you're in generosity, you can't be stressed out. You can't be, it brings everything, like you said, you create perspective. And whether it's my kids having perspective so they're not entitled, or even just me, like having a tough day one day, and then, you know what, I can help somebody. I can help somebody, and it makes all the difference to fill up my cup. And then if it does help other people a lot, then I'm really grateful for that too.
But tell me more specifically about the charity, which charity we work with, and how, like say people are interested in doing the same thing. How can they...
Thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, so I'm a huge fan of Food for Others. Their website is foodforothers.org. I've been supporting them a long time. They have a multi-pronged approach to battling food insufficiency or food poverty. And they actually help, I think it's about 50 elementary schools with weekends worth of food for kids on the free lunch program. Because again, these elementary school children, they can't go get a job. And a lot of the teachers were saying on Monday, they came in and they were almost useless because they didn't eat all weekend. So we would used to hold a drive to create a number of those weekends worth of food and collect items that they would help. But also every time we sell a house, we donate some money to them. I sponsor their 5K. They actually just had it this weekend. It's pretty cool. Helps raise a lot of money. I at times have sponsored their golf event. And then just getting into the warehouse and seeing what it's all about. They are such a cool, creative organization. They help other charities, other nonprofits, but also they are innovative. I never would have thought a food pantry or food bank would be innovative. They found because of dietary issues or religious issues, unfortunately, some people, when they got their rations of food, they were either not using or throwing away some of those items because they couldn't physically eat it, or it conflicted with their beliefs. So now they have the ability where they can go in and choose the right items for them. And they're really, they have thrived and survived to serve a higher need when COVID happened. They're just doing a phenomenal job. And I'm really grateful for Food for Others. Should check it out. They also have a walk-in fridge and freezer. And again, when people sell their house, a lot of times they throw away pantry items. So I can take that over and give that to them. And then one other tiny thing everybody could do, I just encourage you, even if you don't want to give money, is we started with our kids, when we go to the grocery store, we would get 1, 2, 6 cans of extra vegetables. And at first, we would just put it in a basket or a bin in the garage. Whenever the bin fills up, I'll grab a kid and we'll take it over to the food bank. But when we started doing that, they said, why are we doing this? What's going on? And I said, it's food for the people. And then they say, who are the people? And then we start a conversation how some people don't have, as much as they have.
And it's a great way to educate them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And then what about the other thing? Every year you give out pie.
I'm just a fan, of that time of year. I think it's really cool. I wish we did it every month, because gratitude. We have to say thank you to the people in our world. So I just like to, around that Thanksgiving time, touch our business contacts, our clients, anybody who's referred business to us, or just anybody who's a friend, and invite them to come have a pie on me. So yeah, that's a fun thing, and I'll always have one waiting for you.
Thank you. And you see, so all we talk about here, we do a lot of thank you. But one thing I realized, you do some of it, Jeff, we actually do gratitude for your body. But most of us forget about our own body. We never really thank our body. I forgot who it was, but one time You know, I watched him on YouTube, and like, so how do you stay healthy? He said every night he, besides praying to God, he also thank his body and tell his body that how much he appreciate his body. And you know, because he did just automatic learning. I think he went through some traumatic injury, and he recovered from it, and then he realized how important, you know, his body is. And I don't want people to go to any tragedy, a big thing, to realize how important our body is. So thank you for, you know, for sharing all the story today. But I want, you know, to see you again some other time to you know, maybe go to do some archery or something like that, so we can actually talk more about a lot of the other philosophy that we haven't talked about today, because I want so much to have so much to learn from you. But let's wrap up today with some quick advice from us today is, please take care of your body. You know, we only have one body, and it doesn't matter what profession you're in. Think about what stress that cause the most damage to your body daily, and how you can change it. One little thing. You know, let's say you take a break from your computer, you know, every half an hour, take a 2-minute break. Or every, you know, we have been sitting for 30 minutes now. So after this, we have to stand up, move around, and then sit to the standing desk. Because somebody asked me this morning, is the standing desk better than the sitting desk? Well, it is and it is not. If you sit like you stand all day long, it's bad for you. You see, so our standing, they're actually moving up and down, because we need to alternate. Remember, we have to constantly moving. And then not only for our physical body, same thing with our mind. We're constantly moving and changing, right? So once again, thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to talk to you again next time.
Yeah, thank you. And just a reminder, like Dr. Tran said, when they say on the airplane, if you have a young child, you put the mask on first. So that's what taking care of your body is. If you are not in a good space, a lot of people in real estate, a lot of people in other careers, they love to serve other people. Well, you can't serve anybody if your cup is empty. So put your mask on.
Yeah, so talk about selfish. Like earlier, you say you feel selfish because you want to be a model, but that's all, we all like that, right? You know, we want to help others, but selfishly. So we have to be selfish every now and again, because if you have no self, there's no us, right? All right, so thank you.